All right, good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is good to be back. My name's Kevin. We do these game dev Q&A streams twice a week, usually Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. We're a little bit early this morning because I have a bunch of things I have to take care of today. So we bumped this one up by an hour, but we will be back to our normal 8 o'clock time. Should be starting next week. If you recall, last week we were working in the Lyra project in Unreal. Even though the whole point of these is for us to hang out, answer questions, stumble through stuff together in Unreal, when there aren't any questions, I basically just work through making my own game. And last week what we were trying to do is we're working with game feature plugins. We were trying to get our own game feature plugin set up so that we could use our own AI, our own everything kind of within that game feature plugin, which is cool. We finally figured some stuff out last week, but a huge part of it was because, and by last week what I mean is last session, Sunday night, it turns out I was looking for a wrong blueprint class. So we wanted to go back and see if we could remove a couple things to see if we actually needed them in order for stuff to work. Which means we got a couple of Unreal restarts this morning that we're going to have to go through to test that. And then we're going to start working on getting our AI blueprint in the Lyra project and getting back to parity with that setup. So good morning, let's roll, because I have a hard out this morning at 8. I have to get going. Let's just double check chats. I went through all the previous Q&As. I didn't see any questions or anything like that. I saw a bunch of comments for everybody who was here on Sunday. Thanks for hopping in and watching. I know that one was pre-recorded, but I was in the chat, and then I fell asleep because I was in a completely different time zone, and it was like 3 or 4 in the morning where I was. Sweet. All right. So with that, let's just hop right in, and we will go to our screen left. Transition, so we can see our Unreal project. All right, so we're back in the Horde Wars content folder, and we've got the Horde Wars plugin. Let's change this to registered, and theoretically what we were doing was within our system folder we had our experiences and we had a combat gym. Okay, and within our combat gym, we had created a bunch of folders that I wasn't sure that we needed. One of those was the character cosmetics and B spawning rules. And the reason we were using these is if we browse to this and we take a look at our reference viewer here, this is being used by the combat gym. All right. And we were kind of curious about why in the combat gym we needed to list this folder, because this is the combat gym within the blueprint. So we were going to try, now that we had our actual stuff correct, to remove that. So let's take a look at doing that, and just let's remember this because I don't want to get lost in this this morning. So what we're going to do is we're basically this is a load character cosmetics BP. Get some notepad up here just so I can remember. So this is number 5, and this is a load character cosmetics BP. And it is a controller type. Okay. But that wasn't even what I was interested in though, actually. What I was interested in was I thought it was the ability tree. Find references. This is used by the Horde Wars AI controller. Let's edit that. And let's recenter on this just to make sure. This is being used by the spawner. Okay, that's what it was. We'll edit that. So the spawner was using the Horde Wars AI controller. This was not showing. And also in here, underneath here's our Horde Wars enemy. So the spawner was using the controller and the combat gym was here's our no, we were looking at the wrong one. Here's our Horde Wars AI spawner BP. It's weird that that is number 2. I feel like that was in something that we added last time. Oh, no. It was that our no, that was what it was. It's almost like these move positions. Okay, what I want to look at is, let's look at the example from the shooter. Where's the shooter? Shooter core content. And we're looking at the experience definition. Which is under system. They don't have one there. Alright, well, like I said, I don't want to get lost in this. So let's just try. This is a HWZ AI spawner BP. HWZ AI spawner BP. And this is the HWZ AI spawner. We're just going to test one of these. We're not going to get lost in this today, because I want to actually build stuff today. I just wrote the same thing twice. I'm wide awake this morning. Alright, so let's delete that and compile this and save this. And then reference view. Go back to our Horde Wars content and activate it. Go into the combat gym. It's loading. Nope, nothing. No characters. I guess maybe we do need that. Oh no, did it save that? Oh, come on. I was hoping we were just gonna be able to quit out and go back in. Now we have to rebuild that. Bummer, dude. guess there must be a save on compile. Or maybe I clicked save and just didn't realize it. This is why we need to set up perforce. Because if we had perforce set up, I could just revert that. And we will do that. I'm going to see if we can't revert it using Dropbox. Okay. So back in our experience definition, let's bring back the stuff that we deleted. There's definitely something about the experience definitions that are slow. Game dev. Hold on a second. This is. What is the name of this project? This is the. Oh, this is the Lyra starter game. Okay. We need to take a look in the content folder and let's go to plugins. Interesting. I'm trying to revert this right now. So, Lyra starter game. Yep. Okay, that's source code. We want plugins. But interestingly enough, I don't see my plugins here. Where does this file live? This lives in Show and Explorer. Lyra starter game. Plugins. Lyra starter game. Oh, there's 2 plugin folders. That's awesome. Game features. Horde Wars content. Content. System. Experiences. And then let's take a look at the history for this file. Oh, let's do this. Let's just rewind this folder. So let's kill this. Let's go to Horde Wars content. And apparently, this could be dangerous, but we'll try this. Rewind this folder. Try rewind. Let's go to. Wait, what is today? No, I don't want to rewind this folder. I should be able to see the history in here. Activity version history, here we go. Okay, so we're just gonna rewind. This is a feature of Dropbox Business. So even though I don't have Alright, so that should be back. Even though I don't have version control set up, sometimes I can do stuff like this, which is cool. So underneath our plugins folder, this is the other thing that we're gonna look at the history on. Nothing has changed there. Interesting. Okay, so let's call that done, hopefully, and restart and see if we're back. Otherwise, we get to do this a second time and stumble through all the stuff that we were trying to figure out before. And then absolutely next time what I will do is I will set up Perforce. It turns out Perforce is actually free now if you have less than 5 users. And so, you know, we definitely qualify for that. It's just me. %. See if we hit that breakpoint. So early. Okay. Here we go. We are back in business. Now let's see if our game works. So we'll just hop right in. That was fast. Yes. Okay, we're back. Good old version control. I guess it looks like we need that within our folder. Am I the only one that can shoot? I am the only one that can shoot. Oh, hey, there's something interesting here. Even though I can shoot, they don't take any damage. Okay, okay. So let's check a couple things here. So in our Board Wars, let's take a look at our spawner. We're gonna change those back. No. This guy. We need to find, man, this is, I gotta remember how to wrap my head around this. 10. In the source all folder, we got the 10 character, the 10 plate UE4. Let's look at the reference viewer on this guy. So I can remember where. Load character cosmetics, that's right. So let's edit this. So in our load character cosmetics defaults, let's go back to, wait a minute, where does this live, not leave. Yeah, this is in our Horde Wars one. Okay, so I kind of want to, do I want to rename this to an HWZ one because it's within our plugin? Let's just change this to Quinn. What I'm curious about is if we use a Lyra character, one of the previously built Lyra characters, can we actually do damage? Yes. Oh, we can't damage our own team. Is that all it was? That makes sense, doesn't it? So let's change this back to 10 and see if it was because I was shooting my own team. 10. 10. This guy. Yep, it was just because I was shooting my own team. Okay, cool. I was gonna say that's kind of weird that you would have to set that up. So at this point, we're basically using our AI tree, which is what we want. And then if we bring this up, we can start changing things. Right now, all they do is find a random location, move to it, and wait for 2 seconds. Our previous version did a whole lot more than that. So we are, let's start rebuilding that. And to do that, I think the easiest thing is to bring up our previous project, and either what we're going to do is try to package it and export it so we can just import it and run from here, or we may just rebuild it from scratch. And the reason we would package it is because of you know, getting all of those tasks and everything that we built. So we've got the original back up and running. Build is starting. It shouldn't have to build too much. Man, it's cold. Shouldn't have to build too much. We don't. Now, at the same time we're doing this, I want to see if we can't leverage some of the stuff that the Lyra project is doing to simplify the way we were doing our and a lot of it, they were using these EQSs, so they didn't have to have stuff like that. And even their shooting tasks aren't shoot tasks. They're basically, this is a an ability tree service blueprint, and what this thing does is it's the current weapon. So in the event graph, when we tick, if the control on the pawn is valid, we're going to get a current weapon, not sure what that has to do on it, and then we're going to send the weapon fire to the character. So the cool thing about that is it will shoot whatever it's doing in here, which in this case is finding the best position and moving to it. And finding best position uses a query, an EQS, move against enemy. And basically all it does is target enemy on camera. Oh, interesting. What is this? EQS target enemy. EQS context target enemy. Alright. But the overall point about this, or the cool thing about this, is these things are happening all the time, no matter what they're doing. So we want to take a look at that. So supposedly that came up, and we can take a look at trying to package this. Excuse the coughing, y'all. Oh, goodness. Okay. Back to it. We had our looking for our what tree, which is our enemy AI tree. Now, way more complicated, right? So what I'm curious about is we have this character common folder and our AI logic we put in a directory. This is all of our tasks. So what I'm thinking is, let's see if we can package this. Migrate is what we're looking for. Whoa, that is a lot. Holy cow, that is a lot. I don't want all this. I do not want all this. This is way too much. This is basically everything. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do this by hand. Because I want this to be clean. I don't want this to be... I don't want this to be crazy. So let's go back in and do this by hand. Let's see here. Interesting thing was when we left off. We were doing find target and finding players. And the reason we were finding players, that was a secondary backup thing. And our find target was also using an EQS that was looking for find enemies. This will actually be a pretty crazy review. Okay. And the reason we were doing it like this was because we didn't have the setup to handle enemies. So let's go back, and in our ability tree, we're going to use this AI perception to detect an enemy. And then we're going to set our focus to that enemy as well. Actually, we're going to do that if so we're going to detect the enemy, and we're not going to worry about find players anymore. This is our status. That was a visual thing above their head we're not going to worry about. I'm not going to worry about that. This is interesting. Setting the focus. What does setting the focus do? Setting the focus, if we have a valid target, is going to be the enemy. So that pretty much is the same thing that they were doing here. So let's copy this. I believe this is going to be too high up in our graph, but we'll just do it. Because we actually need to clear the focus so that when we're just moving around, we can do that. So we're going to set our focus. Now, what's interesting with this is at this point, actually what we can do to shortcut this load time is we can actually just load our combat level, which should be under our maps. So now we should just be able to play. Cool. Interesting. They're not actually focusing though the way I would expect them to. So let's see here. The focus should be on the target enemy. Target enemy is none here. Gets the controller. Oh, set the focus is false. Interesting. So this set focus, it does set the focus, that's true. So if it's true, it's gonna get the controller target enemy, it's gonna set the focus to that. Okay. So that means maybe our target enemy is not valid? Let's take a look at that. So for anybody who's missing this, we're basically rebuilding our entire ability tree from scratch. But we have a map and a guide to how we're gonna do it a little bit. So this is gonna run our EQS query. The Blackboard key we're gonna be updating is the target enemy. Let's see what this is looking for. Here's our enemy perception. This is in our shooter core content. If we change this, we're not going to be changing it here. We would have to update it in ours. But it is just looking for a Lyra character, it looks like. Doesn't our character, does 10 man inherit from Lyra character? That is the question. So let's take a look at 10. Ooh, this is a Lyra tagged actor. What is a Lyra? Okay, so no, it doesn't. Alright, so Tin Man does not inherit from the Lyra character, which is why, well, it could be why we're not actually getting our stuff. So let's go to Quinn instead. And now that we have it, we're set up as Quinn. Let's see if they actually target and look at. I think that character was looking at me. Okay, wait. I don't know. Let's do a couple things. In this spawner, let's change how many characters we're loading so we can try to debug this reasonably. Okay, so that's that. That's fine. Where's our spawner? It's right here. Shooter core. Oh, details. Combat gym. World settings. Game mode. That's our default experience. Okay. Alright. I don't know what's going on there. A loader is not popping up. Or spawner at least. It's interesting because it's not even closing the tab. What is going on with Unreal right now? Huh. somewhere was the spot that we could specify how many enemies spawned. But because this spawner is not opening or closing, I can't seem to get it. Here we go. Number of bots. I can't open this thing, but whatever, that's gonna work. Alright, so we should have 2 bots. Okay, cool. There's only 1 enemy. Alright, let's take a look at our ability tree again. We hit a breakpoint. Looks like Unreal is crashing. Awesome. No bueno. We didn't get a chance to save a bunch of stuff. Bummer. Bummer. All right. We're relaunching since we crashed. We'll figure out what didn't save in a second. While we're doing that, oh, we're gonna have to rebuild our entire strategize task. That is gonna be a big one. Let's see. This is gonna take some work. Do I really want to do that? This was so complicated. I wonder if we want to do that. I'm wondering if we just simplify this whole thing. Where what we do is we basically find a position. Alright, we're back in Lyra, which pretty soon is not going to be Lyra. It's going to be our game with a Lyra core. Not combat, we want combat gem. See how much we lost. Yep. Okay, so basically lost everything we just did. But that's okay, because we know what we did. We don't really need to worry about those cosmetics. But we will just in case. Just in case that's affecting. Quinn is a Lyra tagged actor. Interesting. Okay. And then we needed our looking for spawner. We were knocking this down to 4. File and save. That way if we crash again, we're good to go. File and save. We should have 4 characters. Oh, we have 4 plus me. That's why. Okay. So that's that. Back to our behavior tree. What we wanted to see was why setting focus was not working. And so I was going to put a breakpoint in here. And I'm going to put the breakpoint here. Let's make sure we hit that. We did already. Seems early. Now it should hit that. The interesting thing is, it should hit that breakpoint. Like this set focus task should be happening every 0.5 seconds. And what it should be doing in here is it doesn't look like it's hitting that. Why is it not hitting that? It's going all the way back to root. But it doesn't look like it's coming in here again. It's kind of weird. How's that possible? Okay, maybe there's something that I don't understand about how the set focus is working. So this is a BTS set focus, which is a behavior tree service. And this thing has an interval of 0.5. In the event graph, event receive activation, AR. Interesting. When I play, it hits it once. One time. What? Can I call Unreal Script? Item glow boost. That's fine. What was that? There was something about setting focus. It does not appear that setting focus is working. And it doesn't look like I'm hitting the breakpoints. Oh wait. Actually, let's try that again. Let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. It is not re-triggering this. We're never hitting that again. So it only comes in here the first time. It ticks every 0.5 seconds to find the enemy. This is a service. This is not. Okay. That is part of our problem. This is not actually happening. Where are they setting the focus here? Is enemy found? Is out of ammo. Okay. They have this move down a sequence. So we have this. Let's try something. Let's do a sequence here. Let's move this up. Get rid of this. And then we'll come here. And the reason I want to try this is I want to see if it's kicking out of it. Alright, so there's 4 times. And we're never going back in there. Oh, there we go, we're back in there. Okay, so this has to do with the way that behavior trees work. Now at this point, let's just get rid of our breakpoints and see if this stuff works. Yeah. Okay, who's targeting who? Okay, so this blue here just changed her target. Now I'm her target. Wherever I go, she's following me. This blue is going to change her target to me, even though she's moving away. But that is okay. Okay? That's cool. Alright. So we're making some progress. How are we doing on time? We got a little bit more time. Okay. So now, if we go back to this craziness that we had built. Man, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was so much. Alright, I'm wondering if we really want to rebuild this whole thing. And part of the reason I'm asking that question is because it was so complicated. It worked, but it was so complicated. So in our ability tree, this was what we called the strategize task. And the big things that this did was it basically went through and found attack rings and stuff like that. It also set our squad formation stuff. It set up our strategy types, whether or not we were going to be defending or attacking. It also looked for squad leaders. Actually, we kind of need this. This isn't even our attack ring stuff. This is just figuring out which team, what our squad color was going to be, and so on. And then we would go through and we would check to see if we could find weapons, set our focus move to and do our friends. And then we basically had our fight, our flight, and our patrol stuff. So let's see if we can get at least fight or flight working. Okay. We know what we want to do. We just have to find a different way of doing it now. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we can run a whole separate behavior tree. All right, let's try this. Let's embrace the Lyra way. Let's see if we can create a nested behavior tree. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a new behavior tree. Let's duplicate this. And we're gonna call this fight behavior tree. Okay, and in here, all we are going to do is this sequence. So this is going to be fight. It's going to find a random location, move to it, and wait. Should be pretty cool. Should be pretty easy. Then what we're going to do in our actual behavior tree is, rather than doing all this, we're going to detect enemy. And then what we want to do is, rather than setting focus, because that should be hold on a second. That's going to detect the enemy. Setting focus. Finding the best position. Interesting. Okay, what we want is enemy found. So we want to make sure our target enemy is set when we fight. And so what we're going to do in here, we're going to add this to this. All right. Now I don't know why root level decorators are only valid and will be executed if this BT is used as static or subtree. Wait, what? Oh, look at that. Interesting. What is it? Interesting. So you're telling me I can only do this here? Oh, okay, that might be pretty limiting. We'll see what we're going to do here. Is we're going to detect our enemy, and then let's run a behavior tree. And the behavior tree we're going to run is our fight. So theoretically, it should be the same. Now what's interesting is I don't see them targeting me like they were before. Oh wait, she did pick me. Okay, so she's targeting. That's working. Is she gonna switch because I'm the closest one now? Yes, she switched. Okay, that's cool. So right now we're running a sub behavior tree, and this is going to be our fight. This is going to be fight. Okay. Now we want a flight. Flight is a little more complicated because flight requires us to know a bunch of stuff like our health and berserkerness or any of those kinds of things. But let's see if we can't simplify this a little bit. So let's create a flight tree. To do that, we'll just come back here. Actually, let me save this real quick. Come back here and I'm gonna change flight because it sounds too close to fight and it looks too close to fight. See, I can't even say them straight. I'm gonna change it to flee. Flee, you fools. Okay, enemy flee. It just sounds better. It makes you think of the Halo minions. Run away. Okay, so in our flee BT, we're going to clear our focus. Okay. And we're going to, how do we make it clear that we're fleeing? In our original one, we used find cover. And the find cover task did what? It basically got stuff from damage direction. And then if the damage direction, it basically looked for the controlled pawn, found all the locations, set the temp locations, set those as, then it set the dot products, went through each one, and if this was true, it would do this. Now the one thing that's interesting though is this hit vector, damage direction. Let's see if there's any references to this. Current location, possible and damage direction. So if our damage direction is not set, doesn't that mess their stuff? It does. Possible destination. Interesting. Okay, we're probably gonna need to simplify this since we don't have we don't have damage understanding yet. Oh, maybe we do. We'll have to look through the bot stuff. We are not gonna have time to do that today because like I said, I had a hard out at 8. So what I want to do here is let's just go ahead and wrap this up. So basically we made a bunch of progress today. It turns out we did need those directories and we're kind of rebuilding our AI tree. We're gonna simplify it as we rebuild it though, I think. So I think next time what I want to do is dig into, this will actually be cool. Dig into a little bit of how Lyra figures out damage. I don't think ultimately when we flee, we're going to just want to look at damage direction, but we're going to want to see damage direction in general so that we can figure out, so we can use those vectors to do other things as well, like effects and everything like that. So next time, I think we'll dig into how Lyra is handling damage direction. That'll be interesting. And then the other one that we'll kind of take a look at is finding a better way to find cover. And so maybe we can use an EQS query or something like that to figure out the best place to hide. We'll have to throw in some boxes into our level to give the enemies something to hide behind. So we'll dig into both of those things next week, and not next week, on Sunday. So for anybody who's here, thanks for hopping in. I know it was quiet this morning, it's probably because it was so early. And for anybody who's watching this after the fact, thanks for checking it out. Throw any questions down in the comments, because remember the original point of this was for us to kind of stumble through any game dev questions in Unreal Engine together. And in the absence of those, we just work on cool stuff. So I hope everybody has a great Wednesday, and I will catch you all on Sunday. Later.